Stories read aloud.
Chuck and Scooter's clever machine. Scooter the mouse loved to zoom. One warm morning, he zoomed past a large old oak tree and saw his friend, Chuck the chipmunk. Chuck was pulling a pile of wood scraps and springy bits into a sunny patch of grass, muttering to himself with a concentrated look. Chuck carefully arranged his items on a mossy boulder under the oak. He held up a strange wooden funnel with a rubber band stretched across it. "Look, Scooter, it's almost ready. My Nut Launcher 3000 concept." Scooter zipped closer. "Wow, Chuck, what is that big, lumpy thing for? Looks like a giant woodpecker beak. Are you going to squirt water at grumpy squirrels?" Scooter giggled, not quite understanding but always ready with a joke. Chuck's tail drooped a little. "It's not a squirter, Scooter, it's for... Well, it's a very important way to help our friends. It just needs some more refinement. Don't you think it looks clever?" Scooter looked at the messy contraption, then at Chuck's hopeful face. "Oh, sure, Chuck, it's super interesting, but it kind of looks like a giant sneeze catcher, maybe just a bit wobbly." He meant to be funny, but his words hung in the air. Chuck mumbled something Scooter couldn't hear. He quickly gathered all his scattered parts, not meeting Scooter's eye. Without another word, he scurried off, disappearing into a narrow root tunnel that led to his underground burrow. Scooter just shrugged. The next day, Chuck didn't come out. Scooter ran to Chuck's burrow, knocking gently on the tiny wooden door. "Chuck! Hey, Chuck, you busy in there?" Scooter heard only a faint thump and then a sigh from inside. "Leave me alone, Scooter," a muffled voice said. Scooter sat on a smooth river stone nearby, flicking his tail. Chuck never wanted to be left alone. He usually loved showing off his ideas. Scooter replayed his words. "Woodpecker beak! Sneeze catcher!" He thought about how sad Chuck had looked. A funny joke didn't feel funny anymore. Later that afternoon, Scooter saw Chuck again, but something was very different. Chuck was dragging his biggest, most prized invention, the half-built nut launcher, towards the old, overgrown thorny bush where all the forgotten junk was dumped. Chuck's tiny shoulders were shaking. Scooter's heart squeezed. He knew exactly what Chuck was doing. He watched Chuck try to push the nut launcher into the prickly bush. "Chuck, stop! Don't!" Scooter squeaked, running as fast as his little legs could carry him, fear twisting in his tummy. Scooter finally reached Chuck. He looked up at his friend's tear-filled eyes. "Chuck, I'm so sorry. My words, they were not kind. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Your ideas are always brilliant, even when I don't understand them right away." Chuck sniffed, wiping his nose with a paw. "It was supposed to help elderberry squirrel. Her old joints ache, and she can't climb for acorns anymore. My nut launcher could gently toss them from low branches right to her nest, but it sounded so silly when you said it." Scooter's eyes widened. "Chuck, that's not silly at all. That's wonderful. You're so clever to think of something like that. We can fix it. Let's get these parts and go straight to your workshop. I can help, really." Inside Chuck's cozy burrow, glowing with the soft light of a firefly lantern, they worked together. Scooter handed Chuck the right tools, tightened screws with his strong little grip, and cheered him on. Chuck explained each part, beaming as they put it back together, stronger and better. When the Nut Launcher 3000 was finished, it gleamed. It looked magnificent, With careful teamwork, they rolled the contraption through the tall grass, heading towards the big pond. They were going to try it out where the sun shone brightest. At the big pond clearing, under the approving gaze of Elderberry Squirrel, Chuck loaded an acorn into the launcher. He aimed, and whoosh! The acorn flew gently, landing perfectly in Elderberry's basket. Chuck beamed, and Scooter clapped, his words of genuine praise making Chuck feel 10 feet tall.